Hey everyone, this is Rob Gauthier, the ET Whisperer, and we are back with the Open Forum 2018. Promised to be a nice and big year, and boy, it is. There's always a delay here, so we're just checking to make sure we're broadcasting, and I just saw we are broadcasting. That's beautiful, so I'm going to check the volume. Okay, beautiful. Everything is running perfectly, guys. Kalina is on with us at a separate location in the bedroom, far, far away, 20 feet that way.
I am. I'm in a far and distant room in another actual same galaxy. I haven't had caffeine at all today.
Yeah, we had a late night last night, and it was the first day of our 2 weeks without Jeremy here, which means this whole next week we're going to be working hard on the one-on-one sessions for daytime people catching up. And then the week after that, boom, we're back to Patreon videos, which reminds me, everyone who's watching this on YouTube, this right here is Sunday the 18th. You won't be watching it until after the 21st, and that's because our Patreon people are able to see all the live stream things live. We're doing that as an additional perk for people. And people who are on YouTube will watch it a couple days later. That way it gives everybody who's paying for the content a chance to first check it over, to look at it, to kind of take it in. But that doesn't mean you guys won't get it. This is an open forum, which is open to the public, 100% free question and answering. Everyone gets an opportunity to send one question in for the possibility of it being answered by Treb or Aridif. And by doing that, we're giving out, this is the part of our free energy. If you guys haven't been to the website for a while, on the homepage, you scroll all the way down. This is our new 2018 energy. It's going back to what it was in 2014 and 2015. We steered away from that for a while, and it was a lot of reasons, but basically we're back to the 3 layers of energy we're trying to give out to the collective, all in the purpose to get as much information and content out to the public as possible. So the first layer is free information. That's the monthly open forum Q&As. Once I start back with a radio show, then we'll have Q&A capacity with myself, and I channel usually once a month on the radio show. So out of all 4 weeks of the month, one is Q&A with Treb and Aridif. The other, you can call me and talk to me personally and go over some of the same subjects. And we're trying to get the Enlightenment Evolution network back in. My show was the Enlightenment Evolution Hour, but the whole network, at one point we had up to 15 radio shows every day. We had at least 1 or 2 radio shows going. So it was a beautiful thing. And because all the people who were involved in it independently got so busy doing their own personal work after the network, they got started back up. But me and Kalina are working to get that back, as is Kalina with her own show, The Earth Experience with Kalina Angell. It's a place where we can chat and put out information for free. That's why we want to get that back up and running this year. We're also going to be looking for radio hosts. So if you have experience sharing YouTube videos, have experience sharing blogged information, anything like that, if you've ever done a radio show yourself, check out our Facebook page. Now, for all of you who follow our work on Facebook, we literally have 10, 11 personal pages. We've got Treb Channeling for the Treb Energy, Aridif, the Ancient Pleaidian. We have Nihal Collective. We have Benevolent Reptilian Hybrids. Basically, we have all these different pages. But if you want to know personally what's going on with myself or Kalina, you can always add us to a regular Facebook, our personal Facebook page. And that's Rob Gauthier, 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 and Kalina Angell with 2 L's as Angel, Kalina, Angel with 2 L's. She is literally the only Kalina Angell in the world who's online. So it's not hard to find her with me. Just look for this nice looking mug right here slapped on the picture, and that's who I am. And I'm pretty sure I'm one of only a few Rob Gauthiers in the Kalamazoo area, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Find us. You'll find what we're doing. You'll find how we're going on. But back to the intent of the year. So that's our free layer of informations and getting as much of that out. Second is our Patreon portal. Monthly subscription starting at the lowest package, $11. You get access to all of our YouTube videos early. And we're going to start doing something that is similar to this, but it's a monthly webinar. We were doing those back in 2015 and 2016 for a little bit, but not 2017. Basically, it's the same thing we're doing today, but you pay to get in, or you join Patreon, and it's free with your Patreon subscription. And that way you get to ask 2 or even 3 questions, so at least one of them have a higher chance of getting answered. We're doing that as a part of the Patreon for free, or if you pay $18 and you just want to do the monthly and not the rest of the Patreon, but the lowest package of Patreon is $11. So it's $7 more to do something once than it is to go on our page and look through the 7 to 8 months of archived information, including access to things like this early and all that. And we also, on our Patreon page, drop unseen content, never before seen publicly, like our Asheville workshop back in January for Patreon. One of the things we did was dropping our Patreon or our Asheville 2017 exclusive workshop. Treb and Aridif took questions from all of the attendees there, and we shared that on Patreon. It's only ever been seen on Patreon and by the attendees of that 3-day workshop. So stuff like that. And we also have, on top of the monthly webinars and on top of all those extra videos, we also have behind the scene kind of things, which we haven't done a lot in the last couple months, but we're going to get back to. And we also have voting in on an in-depth topic, where basically we put up an idea from your suggestions, and then we put up all the suggestions and everyone votes on them. The one that gets the most votes, Aridif channels for 60 to 90 minutes about that one topic only. And Aridif usually channels between 30 minutes to an hour, and the rest of the time Kalina takes information that was in the base root of the channeling or connected to that one subject alone, and ask detailed questions to kind of expand on what's already there, which is beautiful. So far, everyone who's in Patreon says that's their absolute favorite. Kalina's worked with both Treb and Aridif for many years now, so she is very good at extracting that information. She works with her own guides with the insight, intuition, and expands that channeling even more. So that's the one that everyone really loves per month. And we're going to try to do more than that. We're going to try to do stuff like this where we just jump on live randomly on Patreon when we have the time, verbalize our own thoughts, me and Kalina or myself hanging out talking, and then take questions and do some channeling, stuff like that. We're really trying to get everyone to get to Patreon who is interested in at least a small monthly subscription. That's our second layer. Third layer is the one-on-one sessions, which we still always do. But if we can get more people connecting to the Patreon, then we have more of the month to do it. Then instead, during the 2 weeks my son's not here, instead of just taking a few days, like 4 days out to do all the Patreon videos and all the extra stuff, then we could take a week, week and a half, maybe even 2 whole weeks if we can get enough people on the Patreon, which means that not only will YouTube videos skyrocket through the roof, maybe even 2, 3, 4, 5 videos a month there, but also we'll be able to do extra Patreon exclusive, which means the question and answer, the monthly webinar, and perhaps even 2 or 3 more interactive in-depth channelings. This is what we're working on for this year. So those are the 3 layers. Another thing we're going to be doing, and we're going to set up the questionnaire and the form for it soon on the website, is we're going to be taking, what do they call it? Basically, a scholarship. We're going to be giving scholarships of 30-minute sessions for people who can't afford, but it's a very in-depth of what you have to go through to get there. And it's not meant to be a pain in the neck to people. But when we used to do free sessions for people who couldn't afford it, we were taking advantage of a lot. A lot of people would ask for free sessions, and after they found out it was a 6-month wait list, then they would buy a session. And it's like, if you can buy the session, then you didn't need the free one. And it's not only that. We want to work only with the people who truly want to expand their spiritual experience. So you do have to go through a lot of energy to get to that free scholarship, but it's got to be worth it for us and for you. And we love to help people, and we love to put our energy in. But these sessions that are free would be shared publicly. So every part of it, no matter how personal or whatever it is, all of that gets shared publicly. Of course, your identity wouldn't be shared if you didn't want it to be. But there's a lot of things that go along with that. And those are only for people who can't afford it. Most people can afford $11 per month, almost everyone, at the Patreon level. So we're really strict about who we're going to be giving that. And we're going to be starting that in the next month or so. But I just want to let people know and get that energy out. Also, last time we were able to shoot videos for Patreon and for the public, we shot a couple amazing videos that still haven't been edited. We've got a lot of editing work at the channel panel video yet. That should be out by the end of March, because that'll be the 90-day mark for that. So we're really doing a lot of work now. We're expanding in that work, and we're going to continue to keep our work expanding and growing. The last few months of last year were insane. The last couple of years have been a little crazy, but we're tying up all of our loose ends as we speak. We're making sure that all of our energy is put in the right places so that we can do as much of this work as we can. And that's the big picture. Personal sessions help us live. That helps us pay our bills. It helps us finance our events and things like that. The Patreon helps us get content out to the people who are paying for it and to the people who can't afford it. And the free work is to give back to the collective. That's what we want to do here. So I just want to let you guys know that's what we're doing. That's what's going on. A lot of things are coming up. But today, open forum Q&A. Kalina has more questions than I know we'll be able to answer today. And that will include all of the things that you guys have written in. And Kalina will have that ready to ask Treb or Aridif in just a few minutes. Right now, I'm going to neutralize, which means I'm going to shut down the camera for all of you who are Patreon members already. You're going to be watching this live, so you'll have to suffer through the multiple minutes of me neutralizing. But after I get back, we're going to jump right into the channeling, and Kalina will start the questions after Treb or Aridif comes in, and then you'll get your questions answered. So enjoy the Q&A, guys. We love you so much. We're going to actually, before I do anything, I'm going to make sure that I'm able to get you guys set up too, so that people who are just coming in might know that we're on a break. But just keep your guys' eyes peeled for our Facebook page this year, and this will give you a lot of the information that we're on and a lot of information that we're dealing with and are about here. So I just want you guys to enjoy yourselves very much. I'm going to make sure that everyone knows we're neutralizing, and we'll be back. But we love you guys so very much. And when we get back, we are going to be channeling with Treb and Aridif, taking your questions for the next hour to hour and a half. Love you guys. We'll see you in 5 to 7 minutes. All right, everybody. All right. Let me make sure I'm coming through. Can you hear me, sweetheart?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, beautiful. So that means we are in good shape. All right. So before we get started, just a few things to remind everybody. When you're asking these personal questions, linear time isn't always important. Yes, your energy can change from that moment that you ask the question till the question's answered. If you put in your question 3 days ago, for instance, it's going to have a different energy than now, but slightly. Most people are pretty steady in their energies. But when you ask that question, you're igniting energy within you, and those energies go through your higher self, and that connection connects to your guides, to the ETs, all the beings that are around you for that energy. The reason that's important to remind everybody is because when you ask that question and you're excited, you're happy, you're really interested in knowing the answer, that also reflects in the way that Treb or Aridif reflect that answer back to you. And the reason I tell everyone is that just to remember to have a good time as you're doing this, as you're listening, as you're asking, and that will help the energy of the answers come back very good. I'm going to tap into the old hillbilly jug of water, and then we're going to rock and roll from there. All right.
Somewhere there's a mad, thirsty hillbilly, baby.
Oh, yeah. All right. You see the clock now. So let's call it at 6:45 to 7-ish at the latest. But let Aridif or Treb too know when it's getting around that time period.
6:45.
All right, guys. Love you guys. Thank you, sweetheart, for doing the question part of this. You always are a champ, regardless of what's going on in our lives. You always take time out to do this. So thank you very much. Love you. Love you too.
For us.
I will. And I love you guys too. Enjoy the channeling, and I'll see all of you on the other side. Actually, I'm going to take another quick deep breath to kind of re-centralize. I got a little excited there. So. And that's why I mute when I neutralize, so you don't have to hear stuff like that. All right. All right, guys. See you on the other side. Greetings to all. This is Aridif. That is Aridif. And this is it spelled. We understand there are many queries in this day from many entities and co-creators. But before diving into those queries, there are three things in which we wish to express. The first thing, above and beyond all things, express within this state, know, feel, and perceive that you are loved. is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is within and in our greatest excitement to co-create with each and every one of you in this day. Thirdly, greetings, Kalina, you are loved.
Greetings, Aridif. You are loved too. And thank you to you and Treb for being here today with us.
Yes, of course. We are greatly excited for the co-creation at hand. You may begin your queries at your leisure.
Thank you so much. We are really excited. It's been a while since we've done this. All right, so I'm going to kick it off with our dear friend, Vashta. A question for you. And just so you guys know, I will try to screen share the artwork that she's referring to when I right after I ask this question, and then bring it back to Aridif. So Vashta asks you, she says, I have recently channeled a portrait of Arcturian non-physical collective, and they were bringing through information on Hebrew letters as sacred codes, Elohim energy, and creation of matter. They were pointing me to Kabbalistic texts, and those point to Metatron. What is the connection between Metatron energy and the Arcturians? Thank you.
Yes, first of all, as you are aware, the Elohim energy and Arcturian energies have co-created, but as you know, both terms, Arcturian and Elohim, are blanket terms. The Elohim construct are one specific race who co-created with humanity during your biblical times, especially in those that are of the Hebrew, uni or one God theorems. As they co-created with humanity, they co-created from a multitude of different entities co-creating with other individuals and small collectives of human consciousness. There are also many different entities that humans called Elohim because of their own belief systems being integrated with all of the knowledge that they had learned from the Elohim themselves. So those who came later to the Earth Collective were also called Elohim. Now, the construct of Arcturians, also knowing that there are multitudes of races that are co-creating, but the Arcturian energy within all of the different races that co-create, many of these entities co-create in unison. They are one energy. They are one coagulated and constructed collective consciousness. So all of the representatives of the Arcturian beings who were working with a very specific natured Elohim, not the generic term of Elohim, did co-create energies together, did help work with humans to co-create a larger understanding of their own selves and their consciousness at large. Many of you know the entity that is co-created in the former biblical text. Many of you call this entity by a myriad of different names, but Enoch was an entity who co-created directly with the Elohim consciousness, and in Enoch's co-creation learned to open up his consciousness to an extremely large co-creative mechanism. In fact, he was working with the Elohim upon the Earth Collective, then left with the Elohim for several hundred years, having his own life expanded, working directly with outside of the Earth Collective, that his consciousness expanded into a great deal. That consciousness going not only in expansion in time space as you would perceive densities or dimensions, but also matrices. After growing his own consciousness at an exponential rate, he co-created the collective consciousness and energy known as Metatron. In that way, the entity that you know as Enoch turned into the consciousness that you know as Metatron. Although Metatron's energy, that of the Archangel and 12th matrice consciousness, had already pre-existed much before the physical human being known as Enoch existed, it was not known as Metatron, nor was it known as the portion of Enoch's consciousness as it connected. Before that connection process of the fractalized human consciousness expanding greatly into the 12th matrice pre-existing archangel stretch of consciousness, then was started the Elohim co-created collective consciousness's connection to Metatron. Metatron being a new entity, not new in its totality, but new in its representational state, having consciousness added from Enoch.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
And I'm sorry, I was distracted. I was trying to screen share, but it seems that screen sharing isn't working, unfortunately, on my end. So what we'll do is we'll edit in the pictures. Well, there's one art work that Vashta had, and actually, if you go on her website, vashta.com, you'll be able to see the latest there. And you can also go on Facebook and look up her latest depiction there. I'm so sorry, guys. And give me just a minute. I'm having a little bit of a technical difficulty here because my forum just got closed of the questions. Okay, almost there. Okay, here was another one, another question from Casey, but this is actually for Treb, so I might just be bringing you guys back and forth just to make sure that everybody gets a chance to hear from both of you guys today.
Yes, of course. One moment, we will connect you. Good evening, Kalina.
Good evening, Treb. Thank you for joining us also.
Yes, it is very exciting to be here with you.
Very exciting to be with you too. We love you and Aridif so much. And I wanted to make sure that we'd get some time with you. So I thought I'd try to toggle back and forth between you and Aridif a little bit more.
Yes, and we love you very much as well.
Now, Treb, do you remember the picture that I showed Rob last night, right, of Casey's crystal?
Yes, I am very aware of the picture that the host and yourself have seen.
Excellent. And it's mind-blowing, guys, and we will edit it back in. As you know, this will be out to the general public in 3 days, but I'll have Rob post the Vashta's, if Vashta's okay with it, the link to her artwork, and then Casey's picture of the crystal. It's amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the question now. So Casey says, and here I am again with another question about the crystals and the beings transmitting to me through them. Treb, recently a being has come through so completely. I am moved into a very still state and in awe at him. Will you please look into my energy and tell me anything you can about my connection with this one? And why has he stepped his likeness and energy so forward into my knowing at this time? Thank you.
Yes! When you are looking at the crystal consciousness and you are looking at the entity that co-creates it, you will find the face of an aquatic reptilian hybrid being, and this being is what you would call extremely benevolent, type 2 energy. This means that the entity is within the 99th percentile of benevolency when it comes to the type 2 energies. This entity is very connected to your own energy. It is very connected to your sleeping state areas. So when you connect with this being, you are connecting at your sleep time originally, and after many months of sleep time creating and conversing, this entity brought forward an energy of its own desire to create energy with you. And as you started working through your mindfulness and meditativeness and focused energy with your crystal work, the entity brought its own energy into your physical body and into your aura field, and both of you created this energy very strongly and very deeply together. When you work with the crystal energy, you are representing the crystal with a vibrational frequency. As you know, crystal beings are beings by themselves, and they are also great recorders of vibrations, great enhancers of vibrations, and great co-creators with vibration. So this entity that is with you went into your energy, and both of you expanded that energy of excitement. And due to your excitement and this being's excitement, both of you created the facial components that were almost exactly perfect for the representation of the physical energy there. Both of your energies have grown because of your creating together, both of you learning about each other and about yourselves. It is very funny how this works within all co-creation, that when you find more about yourself, you find more about other entities, and the more that you work with other entities, the more that you create with yourself. If you want to understand this being, where this entity is, it is a fifth density consciousness that is very similar to our own. When you look at our own energy, you would say that we are towards the end of the fifth density consciousness. This entity is approximately 75% at the end of fifth density consciousness. And if you wish to know geographically, or more so universe graphically, where this entity is located, you can look into your night sky and you will notice that the Centurion being, that is perhaps the man-goat energy or the man-bull energy, that when you look into the fifth brightest star, that it is within 2 inches at your eye level at the sky, to the right, and a bit to the lower, perhaps even 3/4 of an inch below that area. And this is in the late winter sky in the southern hemisphere. When you look at that area, there is a very faint star, and that star's approximately 600 light years away. And that energy is where this entity is physically located.
That's amazing. And when Casey sent the picture, my jaw dropped. When you guys see this, you're going to be amazed. Is there is this entity around that we can talk to for a minute or two?
Yes, the entity is around energetically, but is not willing to go through the vocal energies, although it is not because this entity does not like us, does not like the host, or does not like to speak to Casey in that direct energy. What it does desire is to know that intimacy in the connection with the entity that you know as Casey, so that when both of them communicate and create together, it builds that bond, and then it will be able to either speak through Casey's own intuition and own psychic networking, or at least be able to build energies with another entity to be able to speak through it as well.
That's amazing. So it sounds like this might be one of Casey's guides.
Yes, this is very true.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Treb.
Yes, you are very welcome.
All right. Let's see. Our next question comes from Aaron, and I'm trying to see if he's specifying it for Aridif or for you. It doesn't say who. So I'll let you guys gauge that. Oh, actually, he does. It says, "Hi, Aridif, Treb, Rob, and Kalina." Okay, so, oh, so I guess either one of you will. Okay, so Aaron says,
"We are back without hesitation or delay. Yet again, this is Aridif."
Hey again, Aridif.
Yes, greetings.
I figured you'd be the one that would be pulled toward Aaron's question.
Yes.
During this third sleep session, I had one of the most amazing lucid experiences one morning on 27th January. I woke up in another room and bed that looked a bit like my old room facing the back of the house, and it was dark. I then heard this squawking sound and saw the most beautiful bird I had ever seen. After recalling it upon awakening, I realized it was a phoenix, and quite a big one with many shades of red and white, and then another one appeared. So I got my phone out quickly to record, and with some difficulty started recording what I was totally gobsmacked to see outside my window. It was so vibrant, vivid, and sharp compared to our reality. And then these little phoenix chicks started looking through the window, at which point I woke up. It's not like I ever think about phoenixes, so either, and it felt like this was definitely something I needed to experience. Can you please explain what this was about? Thank you.
Yes, of course. As you have gone through your own personal growth experiences, you've had that energy, that implantation, representation of the Phoenix energy be an iteration and reiteration amongst a great deal of your co-creative energies. First of all, your self-awareness of your own state of mind, your own beliefs, your own consciousness. Secondly, the sightings of many different UFOs and energies within your physical structure. Then, working in your psychic networking on the precipice of channeling. All of these steps are great expansions of first your own consciousness, then your own co-creative mechanism. So this symbolism is something that is extremely important with you. Now, going into the reason why this co-created in the way that it did, without the symbolism involved, you have connection to avian beings. You are aware of a few of your connection processes, but there are some in which have come into your experience in the last 3.5 of your month cycles. In that 3.5 month cycles, the avian entities who have co-created with you have created very strongly. They are showing you through symbolism that you can understand. This is yet another great jump of consciousness coming forward. That if you desire to co-create with these beings in a more telepathic way, that doorway is open. Now, first of all, these entities who are avian in nature are co-creating with others that you are aware. When you co-create with other beings and speak to them, entities that you know have avian connections, you will find a great source and spring of information for yourself. By co-creating with that specific energy, it will bring you closer to networking your own constructive consciousness as it pertains to the psychic networking within you. What we suggest is start utilizing as many of the third eye and crown chakra meditations that you are able to find. If you are not able to find a great deal of those, we suggest utilizing this visualization. First, ground yourself, connect your own self, relax your physical body, start the breathing circuit. After continuing the breathing circuit and resting your entirety of the physical body, visualize all of your chakras, each of them first individually and then all of them collectively. After you collectively see all of your chakras, start building a cube energy within your heart chakra. Expand that cube out from your heart into the third and fifth chakras. Then go from the third and fifth to the second and sixth, then the first and seventh. After this cube goes out and expands over all of your chakras, Squeeze the sides of the cube and make this a rectangle that fits directly around your chakra area, compressing the energy within it. Then go all the way up from the very bottom chakra with this rectangle until only the third eye and crown chakra are encased by this rectangle. After you have done this, then co-create white and violet light, pouring in what remains of the rectangle. After you do this, re-expand the cube into the entire universal construct. Push that rectangle energy out to a sphere and continue growing it until you are at the edge of your perceived and known entire universal construct. Once this occurs, then recollapse the sphere back into your two chakras, the crown and third eye. Separate the sphere into two spheres and then plant them directly in the center of both chakras. This would help first expand your own third eye and crown. It will release resistance. Then it will fill with universal energy and reinsert. That is the entirety of the visualization process that can help you achieve greater understanding, knowing.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
All right. So our next question, one second, my microphone's falling over. I'm just technologically a disaster today, which is kind of funny. Okay. All right. So actually our next three questions are going to be for Treb.
Yes, one moment.
Hey again, Treb.
Yes. We are very happy to be back with you in this moment.
Oh, we're happy to see you again too, Trevi. Okay, so got the next three questions queued up for you. This one comes from Aaron, who says, my oldest daughter is 8 and has always been a bit more insightful than most kids I'd like to think. I believe she is a very sensitive being and can maybe pick up a lot of other energies around her. I'm nervous that she may pick up on negative energy too. Is there a way I can guide her? We do grounding meditations and other various things. I believe she's a special, beautiful being, and I would love to show her who she really is. She doesn't have to be afraid sometimes of the bad thoughts. Can you please help me guide and can you please help guide me and how to guide her? Thank you so much.
Yes! When you look at all of the energies that you already expressed in the verbal form, you already show that you have a great insight about this entity that is your child, about the entity of energy, and about how you create with her. So when you continue to create with this entity, the best way that you are able to help guide is to show through that example. When we express that showing example, what we mean is you are not necessarily going to be picking up that same energy as she will be able to, as her own psychic energy can be more receptive or stronger in certain moments. So when she is picking up on that energy, instead of having to guide her in that moment, she is going to look back at all of the times that you have faced the most fearful things, where you have faced negative entities that live physically in your reality, and face those physical dangers that are around the corners in the earth energy. And when she sees the grace that you deal with this energy in, when she sees that you are not afraid, that is the true guiding energy for her. And when you continue to repeat this and remind her when she starts going through those experiences, that will even be more helpful. Meditating and grounding before entering New experiences is also something that is very important, because when you are grounded, you are not perceiving negative energy as a reactive energy, as most humans do from the physical bodies, triggering and trauma that is stored. Instead, you are facing it with a very open heart energy and a very understanding perspective of the energy and the world as well. So continue doing what you are doing, continue loving this entity, continue showing that example, and when going into new experiences, remind her and yourself to connect to the grounding and open heart as well.
Thank you so much, Treb.
Yes, you are very welcome.
All right. Our next question for you, Treb. Whoops. I think I have an entity playing with me, you guys. No joke. I had it queued up and then it flipped to the front of the page again. Okay, here we go. All right, so our next question for you is from Ishana, who says, could you please give me information about a past life on Earth or in another star system and dimension? It would most be inspiring and supportive for me to hear at present, considering the challenges that I'm going through.
Yes! When you look backwards at your time period linearly, and you go back into the time period that is approximately 1200 A and D in your own time scheduling, in your own time reference, what you will see is that you are living in an area that is located in the southwestern regions of Europe, a place that is now called southern France area. In that area, you lived in a very simple area, a very simple village, as an entity that is masculine in form. You grew up and learned your father's trade, which was a farmer and herder of animals, most specifically the goat animals. So when you learned that trade, you were able to travel within your community. And often when there was no one to trade with in your area, you were able to travel with your father. There were many younger brothers that soon came after you, and many other entities that were sisters of yourself as well as your mother, and multiple aunts and uncles that lived either with your family or very close by your family. So when you continued to go out, you were the one who was in charge of both the other children, the other brothers, and also you were the second in charge of all of the herding and all of the proper care of these animals. So you continued going out. One year, it was a very difficult year, as many of the crops had died to early cold. Much of the people were starving because of the taxations that were taking place from their local regions. As the local regions taxed more, they also began bringing people into their army. That year you went out with your father and most of your brothers, and it was very difficult because no one in the village area had money or food or anything to be able to trade with. You had to take these animals further out than ever before. Finally, after several weeks upon the road, you met in with new entities that spoke the same language that you did, but a very different version of that language. And as all of you started sharing stories and ideas, you desired to make a long-standing trade partner with this very successful farmer and successful entity who made food of many sorts. So You bring all of this back into your family, and they were fed well throughout the winter, extended family and friends that were included. As the years start going by, 3 specifically, the war and fighting that the regent was working with escalated. The escalation of that war and of that energy created a need for them to take the second oldest son of your family, your younger brother, and 2 of the even younger brothers than this, into their war states. So this energy was something that was very difficult for you, very disruptive for you, and caused a great deal of energy, of family strife and family difficulty. That energy was hard for you to get through, not knowing what happened, not knowing what occurred, and you continued growing out your trade route with these other entities. Finally, after 1 year, your brothers came back older and very hardened by fighting and the fighting that they had seen. Now, afterwards, another 2 years that goes by, you were enlisted into a new war, and because you were the oldest child, your father disagreed and said you cannot take the heir to my fortunes and the heir of my family business. And in that moment, they beat your father very badly and caused pain and suffering. And that upset you very badly, but you still went with him to prevent them killing your family. In that war, you finally had win out your furthest war, and in that war, you found the same entities that you have spent many years building trade partnerships with, and their children were in the war as well. So you had to fight these entities that you had grown to know very well. And one day, when you were seeing them at the war campaign, by themselves, not with the rest of the army, you left your post and spoke to them. And because you did not care for your regent, you traded over to that side of the army. After doing this, you believed that you would be able to help your family go back. And after a few months, you went back to your family. In that moment, you found all of them had been murdered for your desertion. This was very difficult because you chose to not have to fight for forces that were not winning. You did not have to find energies of friendships, but you decided to do what was best for you in that moment, and it caused a great deal of pain and anger. But the reason this energy is relevant to you now is that when you look at relationships in your own experience, that balance of energy goes back and forth, the energy of frustration with being pushed by others and told what to do, and also the difficulties of seeing what path in your own life that is difficult as well. So this energy should give you an indication of energy that attaches to your life. But what we suggest that you think of this story is that after all of the time of losing friends and losing family, you leave back with your friend, you create a new family as you join their family. The regent of that area was much more kind, was only defending their area of land, and because you gave them time and energy, they gave you a plot of land as well as many sheep, and you grew your own family from there. So no matter how difficult your energy in life gets, remind yourself that when you do what you feel is best and do what you feel is right and create with those who truly love you and not use you or push you, you can always create a remnants and reminder of great happinesses. Yes, we are not able to hear your voice.
Oh, I said thank you so much, Treb.
Yes.
And I also want to send you a little extra love, Ishana, for I know you're going through something right now, as you had said. So if everybody could send Ishana a little extra shot of love her way. And we'll go on to the next question for you, Trebby.
Yes.
Okay, so our next question for you comes from Anthony, and he says, "Hello, Treb. I would like your insight on politics between races. Can you give me a few examples on how politics manifests with races, making agreements or disagreements either within their culture or between other races?"
Yes, politics between different races are very similar to many of the politics that are within your Earth Collective, but they are manifested in much different ways. Let us use, for example, there were races of grey beings that are grey, humanoid versions of beings that are not the Zeta Reticuli, and these specific grey beings do not work in hybridization programs. But one of the things that they are truly excited about is learning the depths of the scientific technology from multiple different races. One race that they had come into contact with was a humanoid avian hybrid race. And when they found this specific race, they were utilizing an electromagnetic sound vibration and light encoded technology that the grey beings had never seen before. So, as they expressed to these beings that they were interested in studying the technology, these entities were fearful that if these grey beings were to look at their technology, that they could harm technology because they were not aware of who they were not aware of their intent. So what they did was offer that if they showed the avian race and avian human hybrid race how to co-create other different technologies, that they would show them how theirs worked. So these two races started working together. The grey entities showed a specific technology that is more based around the compression of liquid metallic hydrogen energy that is similar to our own technology. And the entities that are the avian human hybrids showed the other race about their own electromagnetic light encoded energies. So both of them were able to learn and understand, and that was very similar to your trade and commerce side of the politics within your Earth Collective. Another example of politics, some races are not able to communicate through telepathy yet. They are at their fourth density consciousness in the middle or less. So those entities must work with technology or be able to work with some form of body languages. There are entities, such as the entity that all of you have come to know as my wife, the entity that is Treb Bor Yit NE. This energy is one who shares translatable ideas and information to help those that start just working with telepathy to build and to receive different energies. But even when you cannot find a translator in that same way, there are many times where the showing of customs to one another, having representatives or groups of representatives from one race come into the planets so that they can watch the day-to-day experiences of those around them, watch how entities interact with one another, how they utilize scientific ideas, how they work with the nutritional ideas and all of the other spiritual energies involved. After they are quite aware of how that works, they also can begin to learn that language, and then the roles become reversed. The group of entities goes into the other entity's planetary consciousness and learns and stays with them for days or weeks or even years of the time period. And after that happens, there are groups of entities who have learned to speak the languages and customs of one another, and that is how relationships are built with the idea of the overall politics. Now, other constructs such as trade, such as financial energy, these are all very different when it comes to race. And when those races are looked at or perceived, it is greatly depending on how the entities look or feel, or the energies that they share with one another, in how they would trade or interact. There are many entities who desire to gain technology, to gain access to unique things that are easily accessible on one planet that is not the next. And if they do not know how to instant manifest or have technology, then they will consider trading. There was a race of small green humanoid beings that did not have very much dense metals within their own planetary consciousness. So as they began to work with another race, very tall and brown humanoid beings that did have a great deal of metal, what the entities that had the metal did not have, that the green humanoids had in very high percentages, was a certain herb extract that, when taken and ingested for their race as well as the brown humanoid race, that it would enhance their abilities psychically, much as your ayahuasca or much as your mushrooms or peyotes upon your planet. So they started trading, and this trading went very well for a very long time. After neither needed one, after they learned to produce the metal from different planets and produce the herbs from their own, they began to work with other versions of enhanced commerce, which included knowledge. Knowledge is one of the most traded energies until you reach the high fifth or sixth density. After that, both knowledge and physical things are accessible very easily by your own consciousness. And if you are not able to physically manifest it, you are able to travel instantly to another place to receive it. So the economy in that way breaks down into the late fifth and sixth density because it is more important to grow out your internal representations than the external. But the external world must first be explored for many races before true internal can be found as well.
Thank you so much, Treb.
Yes, you are very welcome.
Aw. All right. Well, we have Aridif up next.
Yes, one moment.
Thank you, Trevi.
We are back without hesitation or delay yet again, Mrs. Aridif.
Welcome back, Diffie.
Yes,
sure
greetings.
You need some water, don't you? Sounded like.
Yes, we will partake in one moment.
It sounded like Rob's body was getting a little dehydrated there to me.
Yes, and we wish you to know that the entity that you call Chidi is eating through multiple layers of your plastic in order to achieve eating sustenance of foods.
What do you mean? She's eating. Okay, I'll come out and look at what
yes, she is into your vegetable chips, we believe.
Okay, 1 second. I'll be right there.
Yes.
What you doing, silly? What are you doing? Oh, there's just a bag here.
Yes.
But she was sitting on the chips.
Yes, of course.
Hey. You come back, Cody? There you go. Yeah. I know. Hang on. I don't know where your treats are. Hang on. Let me ask this a question. Take a look, okay? Sorry about that noise. I didn't hurt your ears, did it, Aridif and everybody?
No, we are quite fine.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
The energies are so funny today with technology and everything. Okay, so um, where did it go? La, 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 la. Okay, our next question is from Melissa, and she says, first of all, hello, and all my love to you. I have a personal question. I have always had an immense love and longing for water, swimming, and the ocean. I love all sea creatures, but I am particularly connected with dolphins. They naturally seem to find me when I'm in the ocean, and I feel such an incredible and deep kinship with them. I have lots of dreams that take place in water, and dreams of other lifetime experiences where I can breathe underwater. Can you please give me some clarification of this connection? Thank you. I love you. And love to Rob and Kalina as well. We love you too, Melissa.
Yes, first of all, greetings. Secondly, we are grateful for your love and co-creation as well. Thirdly, when you are looking at the dolphin energy, these entities are very similar to the constructs of consciousness within your Syrian co-creations. Now, the Syrian aquatic energies are very interlaced with human collective consciousness. In fact, those that visited the tribe that is now called Dogon within your African co-created collective community, these entities worked with the human race to understand and bring forward the knowledge from their own race. Also included is bringing forward genetic manipulations on some of those entities that were perceived as sea animals. Just in the same way that humans were once 2D creatures manipulated into the 3D versions of creatures, so too with those that are called dolphins and whales. So in that essence, the entities that you perceive as second density animals are in fact third density consciousnesses. They have not worked in the bipedal areas of consciousness yet. They have not co-created energies of standing up or working on their 2 feet. Now, not all third density consciousnesses do work in the bipedal area, but the majority do, even those that are sea creatures or seafaring beings. Your own connection comes from not only future versions of incarnations upon the Syrian collector, but also thousands of years previously when you had co-created in that part of Africa that was Dogon in nature. Knowing that you are co-creating with both Syrian energy and with your earth energy co-creating the Syrian co-created collective energies, that gives you your understanding of why the aquatic beings so connected to your own energy are easily seen by yourself. But you also understand that multiple incarnations, both forward and backward in your linear time, create directly with or you create directly as aquatic being. This energy is something that is not only a deep connection from your incarnation here, but carries threads throughout many of your incarnations. Tapping into that energy as you go into the water, as you perceive the collective consciousness of those that are aquatic by nature, and those second and third density beings that are in your ocean and a large lake co-created consciousnesses, you will find more about your connections to those different experiences with or as aquatic beings.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
All right. So our next question, and I am going to have to do a little bit of a disclaimer. You guys know, unfortunately, legally, I have to say things like, you know, if Rob is channeling Aridif and Treb and you're asking for things like, you know, diet, medical advice, and things like that, I have to tell you it's not a substitution for going to the doctor. So now that that's out of the way, because we're supposed to disclose that. So I have a question from Martin for you, Aridif. And he says, I have a strong intuition that there is a chemical that is not a narcotic or prescribed medication or natural remedy that can help my wife with her chronic back pain so she can get off the heavy medication she is on now. Can you tell me anything in this regards? Thank you all.
Yes, first of all, there are multiple things that can go in alignment with your wife's energy and within the helping of pain that are both not narcotic or not medicine in the Western senses. Most of these are herbs and roots that are in your co-created collective. Now, we do not have the terminology for a great deal of them, as Rob is not aware, but the energy that is surrounding the plant that is cannabis is called CBD oil or cannabinoids. There are versions of this that have no delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, that is the active ingredient in your marijuana plant, that ingredient that gets you high, or the feeling of raising your own physical or mental vibrations. So by removing that delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol from the CBD, it will not intoxicate your wife. It would only give her the benefit of the oils within the cannabinoid. This is one that we are aware of. There are many in which we are not aware of the specific name or the genome of the plant in your own terms. We understand you utilize Latin forms for the classifications of your plant kingdom. By doing this, it takes a great deal of knowledge away from Rob's own mind. But looking into the plant energies, looking into the roots energies, look for those that reduce inflammation and look at those that co-create with the pain sensors in the brain. Utilizing the THC, although it does give you the feeling of being high, it also slows down the neurotransmitters of the physical brain, meaning that pain can still be felt, but it takes off the edge. It takes off the lastingness of the pain, and it takes off certain levels. If not comfortable with being intoxicated at all, then work with that energy of plants that reduce inflammation. There are a great deal of those that are publicly aware and knowledge of many different entities within the Earth collective consciousness. We are thinking of one specific energy, and we are trying to go through Rob's brain as we know that he is aware. Turmeric, that is an anti-inflammatory and antibacterial energy. Utilizing turmeric as a root will help decrease both the inflammatory and that energy of infection, as many of the things within the human body that become inflamed can be susceptible to bacterial infections or bacterial interferences.
That's amazing. Thank you. And
yes,
Martin, I hope your wife feels better. And I wanted to ask you a quick follow-up question on that, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
Because I know that you and Treb are a little more aware of the, the energy system side of things. You don't necessarily know all of, the herbal and everything, particularly on our planet. Energetically speaking, because our own bodies kind of has its own internal pharmacy, so to speak. And I know some of it that's energetic and also with our diet. Do you have enough information where you could kind of quickly touch upon how a person can produce it internally if they're not knowing what herb, or maybe a certain herb is illegal or not allowed, or not attainable or too expensive, whatever? What is, depending on what can we do to produce, how would we go about doing that naturally in our own bodies?
Yes, first of all, when dealing with that energy of pain, with the energy of any construct of not well or unwell physical construct, it is just this. It is a disease of that physical body. It is a lack of ease caused within your emotional state. All pain, all energies of sickness or unwellness spring from varieties of emotional imbalances or even experiences that are needed. So, some of these energies you cannot partake of to counter, interpret, or circumvent your experience, because those energies are needed for your personal experience, growth, and expansion. But many of these are self-inflicted from those emotional energies. Now, working with the spinal colony, this can be literally one of many different things. It can be a first chakra issue. It can be a crown chakra issue, or it could be a certain chakra that is within alignment of the spine, radiating pain backwards into the spine direction. For your wife specifically, this energy is based within that first chakra region. So going into her own feelings of safety, looking at the parts of her own experience that are dealing with existing physically, elementally, and within the Earth Collective. Look at all of the fears, imbalances, or resistant beliefs around all of those energies. Go through the density and the chakra, looking at both, first density and chakra, and see where there might be imbalance emotionally, mentally, or belief system oriented within that alignment. That can help remove a great deal of that energy of pain. Continuation of utilizing physical things will help the symptoms on a short to semi-short term basis, meaning it could heal you for a few hours or even a few months. But if not removing the energy of emotional conflict behind what is causing the pain, then that energy will never be able to completely rid itself from the emotional to physical structure overlay in your consciousness.
Thank you so much, Aridif.
Yes, of course. We wish to know the expressive time that is remaining.
It is 6:35, and I know that I think Robert said somewhere between 6:45 and 7, but you would know.
Yes, and this is what we are requesting for. We wish to understand because there are approximately times for 2 queries remaining.
Okay. So then our next question comes from Eva, who says, if I choose to incarnate at this time to assist humanity in some way, why do I feel so lost?
Yes, first of all, you are feeling lost because you feel that your job is to co-create with, saving, helping, or assisting humanity. In fact, by your own birth, by your own incarnation, and by your own day-to-day experiences, vibrationally, you are helping the entirety of the Earth Collective Consciousness. The misnomer, misunderstanding, and misinterpretation from the majority of human beings who have the feeling that they must help others, that they must save others, that they must do something in order to make the entirety of the earth better. That construct comes from a feeling of desire to help others, a feeling of empathy and sympathy, which in our own perspective is a very positive thing to have for all of you. By having empathy, it shows that you care not only about yourself, it shows that you are willing to step into the shoes of others, but coming into the entire physical structure, regardless if you are on Earth or you are on a Denebian planet, you are still going into physical reality for your experience and your experience alone. The reason you feel lost, the reason you feel that you are not fulfilling your mission, is that the only mission that is to be had is stepping into your excitement by being a happy person, by doing what you love yourself. That creates the betterment for all around you. Think about this construct, as Treb Bor Yit NE has said, as a very positive and happy virus. When you yourself become positive, happy, and excited, and you are literally acting upon all of the happy thoughts, all of the happy belief systems, and acting accordingly, stepping into that excitement, in a full-time sense, you are going to radiate the happiness that you are. You will radiate the energy that goes into putting things back into a happy state in your life. That energy touches each and every individual you know. All of the entities that they come into contact with, because you have helped make their day better. They see that it is possible to be happy, to do what you love, and not just exist in life. It makes all of their connections or people connected to them even better. It continues. You are literally 1/7 billionth of the entire Earth Collective. Your one portion in your regular, average, everyday state will only affect others 1/7 billionth of a piece. But when you are living excited and happy, you are first doubling your own energy, if not tripling the effectiveness of your energy in the grid system itself, meaning now you are 3/7 billionth of an energy, but also you are infecting and affecting all of the entities around you in the most positive manner. And that is growing, that is expanding, that is touching each individual. Just in that essence, you are doing what it is that you have come to Earth to do. Be happy, to live, to share your excitement with others. Now, sharing your own perspective and excitement with others, in our perspective, is the greatest, least utilized tool that can help other entities. Many of you feel as if you should share your story, if you should share what it is that you feel is important. This goes into that co-creation of following your own excitement, but it also goes with speaking your truth, activating your heart to throat chakra mechanism, activating the heart to throat chakra energy circuits. By opening that circuitry, you are also expressing that excitement, love, and wisdom, and sharing it to multitudes of beings. Even if only a handful of humans ever hear or see what it is that you are sharing, you are still energetically pouring it out to thousands and millions of beings. That is how you make your difference. That is how you share. You live your excitement, you act upon those excitements, and you share your excitements. This will give you that lost feeling to be flipped back, upside down, and reverted back into action itself.
Thank you so much, Aridif.
Yes, and we wish to express, we will take our final query for this day.
Okay. All right, well, the final question, I'm sorry, guys. I know there's so many of you that had questions, but we had tons of questions come in. So our final question will be from Sterling, who I don't think has ever asked a question. So welcome, Sterling. Sterling asks, have we been harvested already for the fourth dimension positive?
Yes, first of all, the construct of harvesting itself, in our own perspective, does not resonate upon multiple levels. You have already joined fourth density consciousness the minute that the vibrational frequency of the galactic central consciousness came in to the place. You look back at the idea or year of 2012, most humans said, this is the year of shifting, but we had always expressed from the beginning of our sharing time that 9 years previous to 2012 and 9 years after is the entirety of the cycle of ascensional energy. Ascensional energy is growth personally and collectively, but done so with the assistance of the galactic collective consciousness. This means that in that 9-year cycle, you are going through your fourth density shift. Positive or negative polarity, service to yourself, service to other, type 1, type 2. All of these energies are seen as very black and white within your Earth Collective community, but all of you in this moment are still type 2 beings. Each human that is in the version of Earth that all of you are in are still type 2 beings. Understand, type 2 beings are a great spectrum of energies and vibrations. The lowest vibration in your own perspective being that who are completely malevolent, who are completely service to self orientation. But the highest vibration are those who are 100% benevolent, who completely love, who can give service to others. The only difference between the benevolent type 2 and the type 1 is the 100% knowing that they are truly a part of all that is. Small percentage can shift you from one to the other. So even in the type 2 spectrum, all of you can live as benevolent beings. This does not mean that you are locked into type 2 versions forever. In fact, that is quite opposite. Many of you will go into your own personal experience of the type 1 vibration, but you must first go through your third to fourth density transferring of consciousness. All of you physically are within that fourth density construct. Energetically, you are in fourth density already. You have been now for over 6 years. In that construct of energy, it is your own perspective, your belief systems, and your own internal perceiving that creates third density reality around you. Your beliefs are so built to being resistant and restricted that you continue to manifest your third density vibration. Many of you are stepping in and out of third and fourth density each day. You are perceiving, you are getting telepathic communications, you are manifesting in the much more quick fashion than ever before. Those vibrations show you that you are stepping back and forth. You notice that once second density beings that you called animals are starting to vibrate more so as the old and ancient human forms did. You notice that the house animals, or pets as you call them, are starting to become more intelligent. They are starting to act with more complex emotional behavior. They are starting to carry memory that is not just inside of their body, built as instinct itself. This shows you that your entire earth had vibrationally shifted. In that vibrational shift, each and every one of you will dictate separately your own reality. Now, we understand this is difficult for those who have the belief system that harvesting occurs, that only a small percentage will go into fourth density, the fourth density service to self or service to others. But in our own perspective, in our own experience, and in our own co-creative capacity, each and every one of you co-create that experience for yourself with those that are vibrationally similar or wishing to have the same experience. Those of you who can shift completely into that type 1 energy, most humans will not have enough consciousness to do so until they are deep within the fourth density energies. What we suggest is looking backwards at the energy, or perhaps you would call it the video construct, that once we shared the idea of the shift and fourth density consciousness, this goes much deeper in depth of the constructs of consciousness, going even further as the density masterclass that we have shared previously, and also that Rob and Treb Bor Yit NE have shared great deals of information upon. We are not saying that your perspective is wrong. It is not resonant with this vibration of the co-creative collective. There can be that harvesting energy to those who believe deeply enough, but your energy is creating with an energy where that harvesting version will not occur. It is a very personal choice and experience. If you yourself desire to go into that harvesting version of energy, you can do so, but you must release a great deal of your own belief systems around that energy. Most likely, each and every human that is co-creating the collective consciousness will have to go through a growth experience that is by steps. There will be no instantaneous versions of nothing. It is not in the human co-created collective experience to do so. There are times in your earth where things have shifted greatly, but there are also such deep belief systems that what is there must be earned. What you do, you must grow for. All of those beliefs that are ingrained personally and collectively that will cause you to have to step by step go up into your consciousness. This is not the wrong way. Neither is going instantly. It is all preferential. And by going into your own self and turning your preferences on and off, that is what will help you decide that version of reality that you are going into in the moment. We wish to express to all of you it is a great pleasure not only to have co-created with you in this moment, but to have co-created with each and every one of you in all times in which we have co-created. As Treb Bor Yit NE has said many times, as well as our own selves, saying that when we are connecting to ideals and entities of energies that are new, we perceive parts of our own selves that we have never seen before. In that way, we are both growing simultaneously. For that, we congratulate you for your own growth, and we thank you for co-creating ours. We also wish to express to you again, Kalina, it is a great pleasure and you are loved.
Always a pleasure with you also, Aridif. Thank you so much. You were very deeply loved. Thank you also to Treb for the beautiful time tonight, and to all of you guys who sent out your questions. And we couldn't do this without you. Well, we could, but it wouldn't be as fun to only ask our own questions.
Treb Bor Yit NE expresses his own desire to express to all of you that he leaves you this evening in love and in light, and will experience you all again, vibrationally, in sleep state, in thought, in that co-created version as you have in this day or otherwise in the near future. We also wish to express that we will bid you all adieu for this evening. You are loved.
Much love. Love you guys. Welcome back, baby.
Hey, how'd it go?
Went really well. I wish we could have asked more questions, but we had so many.
Yeah.
You know, when you sent the link out last night, we had over 50 by the time I opened up the questions.
Yeah, just by the time we went to bed, right?
Mm-hmm. But Rob and I are going to be doing more of these. It's not going to be, we had to be slow when Jeremy was in the hospital, but um, just want to let you guys know that there will be more of these, and we've got more stuff going on for the Patreon peeps, which I know Rob will fill you guys in on in more detail later. But we wanted to bring back the monthly free webinars also for everybody as well.
Absolutely. And I want to let you guys know, thank you for everybody from Patreon who's watching live. Thank all of you guys from YouTube who are watching afterward. We love you guys so much. We're appreciative all of your guys' love, your energy, your kind words, your support through all the times with our son and all the things that have been difficult. But just thank you guys for your love, and thank you, sweetie, for helping tonight and putting your time aside to do this.
Oh, you're very
I want to
welcome.
let you guys know too, we're going to be putting out some more videos soon, and one of them's a real special video. It's going to be teaching. Well, I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to let it go. I don't know if yeah, I'm going to let it be a surprise if I haven't already said it in another video. We'll see. But anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to jump off because I'm going to use the restroom and kind of come back down to earth. I love you guys with all my heart, and thank you.
Oh, I wanted to make a quick announcement too, if I could. Oh, I can't hear you, but it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, sweet. I'm just jumping off, and you can finish up.
Sure. I love you, baby.
Love you too, sweetie. Thank you.
Happy grounding. Yeah. So I've gotten a few emails from some of you guys asking when I'm going to be getting my video and website and all of that up, and you've heard that. The main reason for the delay is because, as you guys know, there's a lot going on with Jeremy's health and other things that I don't know if Rob has talked to you too deeply about. But Right now, I'm just focusing on that, and also because Rob, the ET Whisperer work is kind of falling behind a little bit. I'm helping to support with that. I am working on my own stuff on the side, but until we know what's going on with Jeremy a little bit more, I just want to look for a little bit more stability before I start opening that up fully, because I don't want to have a start stop energy going when I put my stuff out there. So I am working on it, and it will come out. Um, my hope is that it will be soon, because I know that some of you guys are very excited to know what I'm working on. I will say yes, there will be a lot of the Arcturian influence with my 103 Arcturian guides, but I've also had these very profound spiritual experiences that's taken me into a totally different direction that I was not expecting. Um, right now, I'm kind of private about it, because it is, um, how do I put it? To me, spiritual experiences are so personal and beautiful and profound. And it's like I have to have some time to really take it in. But when I can, I'll definitely share. But I'm definitely going through a completely unexpected metamorphosis of sorts. So while things are stabilizing for Jeremy and for the ET Whisper and getting more of that stuff out, I just really want to focus on supporting them, and then gathering and creating my own stuff. And when I feel like there's a little more time for another energy to come through. And again, I hope it will be soon. I'm hoping it will be within the next month or two, but we'll see. That's my personal intention. And I'll keep you guys. I'll keep you guys noted on what's going on. But I'm sure you understand my reasoning for wanting to put Rob and Jeremy first. I love them. I want to make sure that they're well. I know that you guys are really aching for more material from ET Whisperer, and um, it really is kind of a two-person job when you are taking care of a child. Well, he's 18, so he's technically an adult with really special needs. So that's going to be my first priority always. But you guys, sharing with the world, that is, kind of, I don't like the term soul contracts, more like an agreement. I do want to share with you all. So for those of you that keep asking me, I promise it will occur, but there's going to be a divine timing with that. And I'm going to always make sure that Jeremy and Rob are um, that I'm there for them first. And I just appreciate so deeply your understanding and your patience. You guys have been amazing, and I promise you, when the time is right, um, my plan is to knock your socks off with the information and the stuff I'm working on. Rob's been seeing it; he's had some sneak peeks, so that's all I wanted to say on my side. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. And if you didn't get your questions asked, we will be back every month with the free open forums, and you'll be able to get a chance to ask questions. Love you
And
guys.
also, if you guys use Patreon, then you'll have another chance to ask a couple questions for the monthly webinar. We're going to be doing both each month. So if you miss it on the open forum, which is free, you can always join Patreon basic package for $11 or more and jump on there to get your questions asked on that. There are higher packages than 11. We've got 11 all the way up to like 222, or for more expensive, like one-on-one sessions, stuff like that. But if you want to join there too, we're trying to get as many people there as we can, because that's where we want to put our energy too. And thank you, Kalina, for sharing that about your own work. I love you, and you are so huge of a part of this work and my life and Bubby's life. Thank you.
Well, I love you guys. And one more super duper quick announcement, even more even more pressing than people have been asking me when the hell I'm going to have my stuff out, is when the hell is the channel panel video for, the most recent channel panel. We are editing that, and it, our intention, I'm going to say our intention, because, is to have it out probably sometime in March. So between mid and late March, wouldn't you say, sweetie, would be the absolute latest that we perceive, and our intention.
Our 90 days ends at March 30th, I think, and I think we'll have it done before then. Yeah. We told everyone we'll have it done before then, so we will.
Yeah. So we definitely are working on that. It's just about aligning, the audio, and it's a lot of footage. And then, unfortunately, because I was so sick with the flu, I have all this wonderful, incredible coughing everywhere in the background. So I'm trying to edit some of that out too. All right, well, guys, I am going to jump off. I think Rob's about to jump off. We love you. I'm going to check the chats real quick. Maybe we have any other questions. I don't see anything. All right. We love you guys. We will have an edited version of this with the pictures up within 3 days. Rob, are you going to leave a link for the Patreon people to watch the raw footage in the meantime?
That's the link that they're on now. So it'll stay that same link.
Okay, yes. You guys will still have the archive, and then we'll have the edited version. So it's a little more cleaned up for you guys, and you'll have pictures. Rob, if Vashta's okay, I'll reach out to her to see if, I think it's okay because she had it on her Facebook. Maybe if you share the links, and if Casey's okay with it too, I wanna share the picture of that crystal. I know that she's actually okay with it because she shared with me with this. So yeah, I'll give those to you also, so that the Patreon people can click on it and look and reference what the questions were about. So I'll send that to Rob now, guys, so that when it archives, and you can go back and look at it, and you'll see what we mean. Amazing stuff. All right, now I'm going to jump off. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.